scenarios. Okay, so the first scenario that I want to cover as part of the today's session is navigating to the date picker. And by default, the December 7th is there in the calendar. Maybe we can pick a December 10th. Okay, maybe we can pick December 10th and sometime we can just set it up as part of this calendar. So using this program, okay, using an Appium script, how exactly we can achieve this particular functionality. So what I have done is I have already launched my Eclipse editor and I have already established a session in my Appium. So now I'm creating a previous program, whatever we have created. I'm just copying one of the existing program and I'm pasting a new program and I'm naming it as a date picker. Okay, so date picker. So in this data picker, I don't want to use the existing commands since I'm deleting all those things. And the only thing that I want to do is accessibility ID dot, what is the first screen I want to click? A date picker. So I'm just giving this a date picker. Okay, so I have given a name as a date picker. As we have seen in a previous session, almost every object in a first screen is having an accessibility ID. Directly, you can click on it. Now in the Appium inspector session, just reload it once so that the latest screen will be populated. Now I just need to perform a click operation somewhere here. So we have an accessibility ID, date and a time picker that's been prompting up a new pop-up for us. So again, I'm just using driver dot find the element. Okay, find the element by accessibility ID, and I'm using this dot click command again. So I'm just asking it to perform this click operation on this accessibility ID. Okay, so whenever you perform a click operation on this accessibility ID, it's been prompting a pop-up for us. So I just clicked on this particular option, and this is the pop-up that it's being populated. Now, let me select any date here. See here, guys, whatever the date you want to select here, every date is having its accessibility ID. So whatever the date you want to pick it up, it has its accessibility ID. So 9 is having its accessibility ID, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, all are having the value, whatever that it is being prompted, it's being displayed as an accessibility ID. So what I'm going to do right now means I just want to click on this accessibility ID where I want to give 12 as my date basically. Okay, where I just want to give 12 as my date. This is what I want to deal with it. Okay, perfect. So now what I'm doing is I'm asking my program to perform a click operation, which is having an accessibility ID as a 12. And later, so here I just want to enter this time value. So here you have a time value. So the name is a time. And let me try to change this name as, okay, so 444 and click on a send keys. And let us see whether the time is being updated in that particular text, in that particular field, or we are getting any error messages. So with the accessibility ID, whatever, or with the object, whatever we have, we were able to enter the updated time out over there. So copy this XPath, go back to your program and driver dot find element by XPath. And I want to perform a send keys operation, and I'm just giving all the numbers directly 4444. So here, even if you observe in this previous situation also, I have given just the numbers, as the application is having a delimiter right after that particular single 4. So the colon is being appended by that application itself. Gets done the deal. And after this particular action, okay, that's fine. I just want to click on this AM. And again, the AM is having a separate accessibility ID. Let me get this accessibility ID. Let me go back here. So driver dot find element by accessibility ID. And I want to perform a click operation on that. I want to perform a click operation on that. That's it. This is the simple thing. I just asked it to perform a click operation. That's it, guys. We have just performed all these operations. So let us go back and let us see how exactly the script is being executed. So run as a Java application. It's being executed. Let us see how the script is getting executed in this situation. Okay, so it should click on a 12 first. Okay, and it's not clicking. Okay, the 12 was not selected here. So guys, if you clearly observe, I noticed that it's having an accessibility ID, but somehow the 12, it got a performed a click operation, but the date is not selected. The date 12 is not selected. For me, for better understanding, what I'm doing means I'm just opening my source code here, and I just want to study why I am unable to perform a click operation on that date. Okay, so let me expand this date picker and let us see what is the reason behind that. See here, month is having an accessibility ID. That's fine. And this is what the picker wheel is. That's why the time picker is having a separate chunk. And here is the dates. Okay, let me expand it. See here, guys, if you observe each and everything, for us, we noticed as a 12 basically, but whenever you are observing in a source code, basically, the accessibility ID is a bit differ. See here, Sunday, December 12th. This is what the accessibility ID for that particular 12th. So I'm just changing this accessibility ID and I'm trying to rerun the test script to check whether that particular option is performing or not. So let us see how this is exactly going to work. So as of now, the 12 got selected and even AM got a selected from this particular calendar. Okay, AM got a selected from this particular calendar. That's it. So this is the way how exactly we can pick a date here. Okay, this is the way how exactly we can pick a date from a date picker. So we have a selected a date. If you observe, guys, okay, you have a picked a date, and even you have a selected some time value also. Okay, you have a selected a date and you have a selected a time value also. And that's it. So this is the way how exactly we can deal with it. Okay, perfect. Done the deal. And here we have this, this functionality which is changing these values. Okay, we have a separate functionality to deal with it. Okay, we will see moving ahead with the next scenario. Okay, if at all any rotation is there, basically how exactly you need to deal with this. So we call it as this picker wheels. If at all some information is there as part of a picker wheels, how exactly you can deal with these picker wheels would be our next scenario. But as part of this scenario, if you clearly observe, this is the way how exactly we can switch to it and how exactly we can handle a dates. Good. Any questions for me on this?
No, it's fine.
Okay, perfect. Then the next point here is I'm copying this code. Okay, I'm copying this code and I'm pasting this code, picker wheel. Okay, and in this particular picker wheel, so now on the app home screen, so we need to select picker view. Right, we just need to select the picker view. So I'm deleting all the unnecessary chunks. The first one, it's going to be the picker view. Okay, so picker view. Let me cross check. So here, picker view. It will be clicking on a picker view. Now here you have three different options. First, second, and as well as a third. Three different options are there, and out of these three different options, you just need to change their respective values. Okay, you just need to change their respective values. So what I'm doing right now means I'm just navigating to this picker view screen in my Appium inspector. And on that Appium inspector picker view screen. So this is what a complete Okay, the first section is, so the picker got split it into three different views, and even the locators are also prompting in a three views, basically blue, green, and a red. So the extreme right hand is a blue color component, the center component is a green color component, and the extreme left component is a red color component. And by default, the value whatever we have in that particular field is a 65, and if you see the second one, it's a 205, and the value attribute is a 120. So you have an individual value attributes and the values are being populated. Okay, and upon clicking on that, let me add an accessibility ID. And the simple way how I am dealing with this one is find the element by accessibility ID, and I'm using a send keys command, and I want to give 70 into that. So this is what the first object, right? The red color component. The red color component is talking about the first object. So here you can pass a 70, 75, 80, 60, 55, whichever it might be, you can pass that particular value. So as of now, I'm just passing 70 as a component for the first field. Okay, for the first wheel. And for this green component, I just want to pass with the 210, the upcoming value. So here, I'm just copying this command for two times and then I'm pasting it here, 210. Okay, so here the green component is having a value as a 210. And the next one is the blue component. The next value is just 125. So here I'm just changing this one to 125. That's it. I've just passed on these values here. So pick a view, and I'm just trying to pass these values using a simple send keys a command itself. And when I run my test script, and if you observe the test script execution right now, all the views, all the values, whatever we have passed will be updated. Okay. See here, 70, 210, and 125 were updated in that particular application, guys. Okay, so on this particular picker view, the views, okay, whatever the values you have passed, you can use this particular values, and that information will be updated on that particular application. Okay, good. 70 and something is a 210. If it's already having a 210, I can change it to 215 basically. If you want to change it to 215, automatically this will be updated. Okay, perfect. Done the deal. And here on this UI kit catalog application, there is a web view. At the bottom of the screen, there is a web view. This is a HTML content inside that, but there is a no, okay, just the content got displayed, but there is a no specific information for this particular content, guys. Okay, so there is a web view tab, and upon navigating to the web view, there are no locators are there. Just it is displaying that this is what a HTML content information is. So what I'm going to do right now means whatever the Android script that we have prepared, so the web view, I'm copying that Android script web view, and I'm directly placing that Android script web view here. And in this particular web view, the few things that I'm changing right now is creating an object. So whatever the desired capabilities that we have passed for Android, I'm just replacing the whole chunk with an iOS basically. So here, if you observe what are we doing right now means in this application, okay, this is what a different program is. Okay, so in this application, so we just need to click on this web view. Okay, on this application home screen, you just need to click on this web view. And upon clicking on a web view, you just need to get the context. So here we have a program that will be getting now the context. Right. So here, what exactly the context we have? Let me see. So here, I'm not changing the context command. Whatever the command we used in our Selenium, sorry, the Android piece, I'm just copying that particular code and I'm just reusing the same code here. I'm not changing anything else here. Just copy paste that particular instance and use it here. Okay, so let me open up this web view that we have created. And on this, once after it clicked on a pick a whale, I'm asking to, okay, this web view basically. So I'm just asking it, whatever the contexts are there, get all those contexts. And once after you captured all the context, now you just need to print those contexts here. I'm not doing anything, guys. I'm just opening the application and I'm clicking on this web view. And upon clicking on this web view, okay, this is what a web view is. I'm asking my program to get the context and print the context. Let me try to run my test script. This application is not having any particular operations, further operations in a web view. It's just a static page basically. See here, native app and as well as a web view. Both the instances are there for this app and it got retrieved. And if at all you are using an application which has these instances directly, which has some other options inside that, you can perform those further scenarios on that. But for now, this is the application that we are using which don't have that stuff. Hence, we are not doing anything on it. Okay, good. Done the deal. And then what I'm doing right now means I have downloaded some other sample application from GitHub, and I'm trying to use whether that application will work here. So I'm trying to generate that. Okay, I'm trying to generate that particular app instance. Okay, and let me try to establish a start session. App, start the session. Okay, an unknown conventional exception app path needs to be an absolute. The file user slash does not exist, is not accessible. So I have a directly downloaded some app files and we are getting that this app file is not accessible, this app file. Okay, that's fine. So as of now for today, we can frame these scenarios on this particular the source app, the UI catalog app, whatever we are using. Maybe the upcoming scenarios we will try to see on a different application. But for now, let's continue using the same scenarios on this application. Okay, good. And then the next point that we need to consider here is, so far, if you observe guys, what we have done is, so we handled a date picker, we handled a picker wheels, we handle a web views, and if at all there are any text fields, you can use a simple send keys command in order to handle any kind of a text fields. There is a no specific restriction that you just need to use a separate set of commands. You can use a simple send keys command to handle this. And there are switches basically you can just toggle on and off these switches. So you can find a unique locator for this switch and you can simply toggle on and off for that particular switch. So for today, let me write down a program that will toggle on and off for this particular switch. Okay, so I'm executing the program now, the scripts, and here, where is this switch? This is the switch basically, and I just want to perform this operation. So here, this is what my first switch is, and here name default, and this is what the first switch is. So here, yeah, this is highlighting that, and XUI element type switch. So the switch is having a type attribute. Let me copy this attribute and let me write down my XPath // open braces at the rate type is equal to. I'm clicking on this search button as there are two switches. The switches are identified with this XPath. So I can use this locator, to perform this operation. So I'm just copying some existing code and I'm placing here and I'm naming it as a switch. And on this switch, basically to navigate into this screen, you need to click on a switches of this accessibility ID, switches of that particular accessibility ID. And then this is what an XPath is. I just need to click on that particular XPath, driver dot, okay, find element by XPath, and I want to perform a click operation on that. Okay, driver dot find element by X path, and I just want to use a click operation on that. Okay, that's fine. Done the deal. What I have done here. Driver dot find element by X path. Find element by XPath dot a click. So when there are multiple objects are there, usually this command will be performing a click operation on the first occurrence of that particular object. So when I run my test script, out of those two different switches, it will be performing a click operation on the first switch that it encountered. Okay, that's fine. If I want to further customize this program, I can copy this program and I can paste it here. And what I can use here is instead of using this click command, I can use a find elements command. And I just want to store these find elements into a list of web elements. And here switches. Switches is equal to, I just want to get all the switches information here. And on top of this one, the next point that I need to do is for int I equal to 0, or you can use directly this web element of, okay, so web element of a switch from the switches, okay, from the switches, switch dot a click. I just want to perform a click operation on all the individual objects, whatever we have. So I'm just trying to run this script. And if you observe right now, whatever the switches are there, it will be performing a click operation on those individual switches. In the current instance, we have a 2 and it will be performing operation on those 2 itself. That's it. So this is the way how exactly you can handle a switch. Okay, this is the way how exactly you can handle a switch. Okay, good. Done the deal. So yeah, these are all the scenarios that we have a plan for today. So we'll continue the topic with the further scenarios in the next session.